we're gonna switch up the flow a little bit for these next couple of Easter eggs, as they're not really Easter eggs. I mean, they technically are. They're basically a bunch of references to SpongeBob in other shows. And then don't worry, after that, I got lots of regular Easter eggs for you guys, but these are very interesting. So yeah, let's dive into it. Let's kick things off with another Nickelodeon show. SpongeBob is produced by Nickelodeon, and they back in the day had a ton of other Nicktoons. One of those being Jimmy Neutron. I love this show. This show is iconic. You know, I'm actually surprised that they haven't done some sort of like Jimmy Neutron reboot at this point. They rebooted Rugrats, so like why not Jimmy Neutron? But anyways, there is a really cool reference to SpongeBob in the Jimmy Neutron episode, Operation Rescue Jet Fusion. Take a look at this and let's see if you guys can spot it.
There's the tracking device!
Well, as you know, SpongeBob lives in an iconic pineapple home, all right? Right here, it's iconic. Would you guys live in a pineapple? I'm curious, let me know in the comments. But yeah, he lives in this house, and if we pay close attention during this scene of Rescue Jet Fusion, why is there a random pineapple under the sea? Yeah, this is definitely a reference to SpongeBob. Pineapples don't actually just grow undersea, and I don't think it's a coincidence that this show is also made by Nickelodeon. So yeah, this one's really cool. I love Jimmy Neutron, and it's awesome to see two Nickelodeon shows reference each other. And guys, that's not it. Let's head over to another show. It's gonna shock you that this show has a reference to SpongeBob in it. Next up is The Simpsons. Yeah, guys, believe it or not, The Simpsons has so many references to SpongeBob. Like, SpongeBob will just blatantly appear in the cartoon. It's usually more parody than a cameo or reference. Like, I don't know how much Nickelodeon likes it. I don't think Nickelodeon's allowing it to happen, but it's still really cool and really funny. Here's the first reference. Now, I'll admit that first one was pretty light, okay? As you guys seen, it's pretty simple. Bart always has that gag where he writes on the chalkboard. It's always something funny during the opening, The Simpsons intro opening song. And as you can see right here, this time it's a SpongeBob reference, which is really cool. This one's subtle, like I said, but some of the other Simpsons references to SpongeBob are wild, just like this one. Take a look at this from the episode The Way of the Dog. This is the type of cameo or reference where I'm asking myself if Nickelodeon's cool with it. You know Nickelodeon does not like this, because look, it's blatantly like an orange SpongeBob lookalike plush. Like, you know that is SpongeBob, and I don't know how The Simpsons has not gotten sued by Nickelodeon, but hey, I'm all for it. I love references like this. They're awesome. And there's another one in this episode, The Ways We Hear. Take a look at this.
No. Identify all traffic lights. Done. Identify all yield signs. Done. Lisa, help me!
20th century dictators? Overrated fiction? Hyper-intelligent cartoon characters? Vegan nut milks?
Now, I really like this one because as you can see, it's like a CAPTCHA screen. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like Patrick's just in the background. It's like he's a part of this CAPTCHA screen, which is just, it cracks me up. And it makes it even more funny that this Waze website is like a parody of Google's Waze. So just super cool references. And The Simpsons isn't the only show with really cool references or parodies regarding SpongeBob. So let's head over to another cartoon. This one's also going to shock you a little bit. Up next is American Dad. Like I said, this is an adult cartoon, so I'm kind of shocked that SpongeBob would be referenced in it. And again, though, it's kind of funny that they're referencing a kid's cartoon. I think that's the whole point. And the first one can be found in the episode Jack's Back. Take a look at this.
Miss Smith's duties shall be limited to watching TV and web surfing.
I already have a boy for that. He watches Nickelodeon all day. And not real. Game on, bitch.
Hey! You said a swear.
Wait, you're real?
Yeah, this one cracked me up. So you can see Roger come in and walk in on this kid who's watching a SpongeBob parody show. So yeah, I mean, I was that kid when I was growing up watching SpongeBob on the TV. It's a good show and a really cool reference here from American Dad. And here's another one from another American Dad episode, Toy Story. I'm not gonna say what it's actually called. It's inappropriate. We're just gonna call it Toy Story. Here's the reference.
Tonight, we fight for our lives!
Yeah! Dude, you know that Fox had a lawsuit on their hand for this one scene. Look at how many copywritten characters are on screen. We've got Transformers over here. We've got Thomas the Tank Engine right here. But more importantly, we've got this banana version of SpongeBob right here, which is hilarious. And also, if you look, I'm pretty sure he's missing an arm, just saying. Really funny parody from American Dad, a banana version of SpongeBob, which I think is also a thing in the Cleveland show. Take a look at this.
Can't believe I missed Stool Fest because of my stupid mom. Ha! You're whipped by your mom.
We've talked about this before, but I realized it made an appearance in an episode we haven't talked about, Buried Pleasure, where Cleveland wins a Banana Bob plush doll at the carnival right here. They really love SpongeBob over at Fox, man. But yeah, let's head over to another cartoon with more SpongeBob cameos. This next one will be more of a cameo and less of a parody, so yeah. There are a lot of SpongeBob references in adult cartoons. This next one's from more of a kid's cartoon, that being Duck Dodgers. Roll the footage, take a look at this.
It's a formal celebration of our planet's peace, and you're making a mockery of it, you sea sponge!
Yeah, so Disney isn't nearly as brave as Fox is, as this one's a little more subtle, but you can also tell it's a reference to SpongeBob, as in the episode The Fins of War. There's this busboy character who bears a striking resemblance to SpongeBob. I mean, come on, that is 100% SpongeBob, and it's important to mention that they go like undersea in this episode, so you can tell that it's meant to be a reference to SpongeBob, and this one's a little more classy. Like, I actually really like the design right here. It's really cool. Not as cool as this other reference from this next cartoon though. Alright, so let's make this next one quick since it's more of a live action reference. I prefer covering like cartoon ones, but this one's still cool and it's from the iconic show Sesame Street. Definitely gonna crack you guys up a little bit. Roll that footage, let's go.
It's time! It's time!
Time for what?
Triangle Bob Triangle Pants!
Triangle Bob Triangle Pants?
My favorite TV show, Alan!
Are you ready, kids?
Yes! Yes, Triangle Bob! Yes!
Who lives in a triangle? Counting to 3.
Yeah, so let me introduce you guys to Triangle Bob Triangle Pants, a very clear spoof of Nickelodeon's character SpongeBob. It appeared in episode 4079. I had no idea there were that many episodes from season 35. And yeah, not much else to say about this one, but I want that outfit, man. That dude's dripping. I want that Triangle Bob drip. But let's keep it moving to another cartoon. So here's the thing. I have never actually even heard of this show until making this video. The show's called Uncle Grandpa, but it does seem to be somewhat of a popular show. What really caught my eye though was this really blatant and probably one of the coolest references I've seen to SpongeBob in a while. You guys gotta see it for yourself. Look.
If I don't make friends now, I might never make friends. And without friends, my grades would suffer and I'd miss out on a college education and end up with a crummy job and a crummy life.
I absolutely love this one. So as you can see, the character's panicking about not getting a good job and having to work at like a fast food restaurant, which is a thing, guys. Cartoon Corey used to work at Subway and now I do YouTube. Trust me, finish school because you do not want to work at a fast food place. I know SpongeBob makes it fun flipping Krabby Patties, but yeah, anyways, when the character complains about this, he's pretty much in the exact Krusty Krab kitchen. I mean, look at this. Here's a side-by-side, and the dude working cash is a creature who slightly resembles Squidward. Like, come on. This whole shot right here is 100% a reference to being a fry cook at the Krusty Krab. And I absolutely love it. This is a cool reference. It's fun. So I don't know if this one was a cameo. This one was probably more parody, but the Disney series Amphibia. This is more of a newer series. It only came out back in like 2019, but dude, it is really, really good. And it actually has a ton of different little references to video games and cartoons. And here's one to SpongeBob.
This is fun to watch and all, but it can make the last puzzle pretty rough.
I'm sure they'll work it out by the time we get there.
How cool was that? So as any SpongeBob fan knows, one constant in the series are these like time cards where it'll be like SpongeBob's doing something and then it'll jump to this screen and it'll be like 5 hours later, and then it jumps back to the episode and you see whatever they're doing. It's a really funny gag. Here's an example of it from a SpongeBob episode.
Here we go.
1 hour later.
Just a few more seconds of mental preparation and I'll be painting this wall.
3 hours later.
Can you move it along? I'm all out of time cards.
Well, as you've seen before, Amphibia references this in the episode The First Temple. As look, you can tell that this is a blatant reference to the time cards in SpongeBob. I mean, look at it and it's hilarious. I love it. Go watch Amphibia, it's a good show. But for now, let's keep on watching these SpongeBob cameos in references and head over to another TV show featuring our favorite yellow sponge. Next up is The Simpsons, owned by Fox, which is also owned by Disney, so interesting. I don't think this one was a cameo. Again, I think this one was a parody, and I've said this before, I'm surprised that like Nickelodeon has not sued the heck out of Fox. Anyways though, we've got 3 spicy SpongeBob parodies in 3 different episodes of The Simpsons. Here's the first one. It takes place in the episode She Used to Be My Girl. Here, take a look.
Lisa, what are you doing in there?
Praying to Buddha, Jesus, SpongeBob. There's no time to be picky.
Perhaps we should help.
Skriller.
Yeah, I told you, they're really funny. That one happens during the credits and it's really fast, but as you can see, we got SpongeBob up in heaven with Jesus. Really good stuff. And here's another one from another Simpsons episode. This episode is Fat Man and Little Boy.
Hey, hey! Krusty Show t-shirts are made for kids, by kids. We've got all your favorite characters: Itchy, Scratchy, Poochie, Austin Powers Itchy, Itchy Poochie, Scratch Bob Itchpants, Confederate Itchy, and Osama Bin Scratchy.
This is another good one. Let me introduce you guys to Scratch Bob Itchpants. Like I said, it's from the episode Fat Man and Little Boy, and just, yeah, really funny. And here's another one from one of the Treehouse of Horror episodes. Take a look at this, roll the footage.
Sweaty cheese. At the end of the day, you're still cheese to me.
Dude, that is literally SpongeBob's house. Like, here's a side-by-side. There are some minor differences. This is like a massive island version of it, but that is totally SpongeBob's pineapple home. And you gotta love Simpsons for putting this in the episode. I love stuff like this. It's too funny. You know what's also funny though? This next SpongeBob reference from an entirely different cartoon that you will not believe. So let's head over to that. Who remembers the show, The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy? I mean, I say that as if it was like a smaller show, but this was a Cartoon Network smash hit. This show was very popular, so you gotta remember it. Come on. I loved this show as a kid, but even I missed this SpongeBob reference in the episode Be Afraid, Be Very Afraid. Take a look at this.
See this chart?
Yes.
This chart has nothing to do with us. Now this chart shows sales have been declining ever since we hired you. Apparently no one wants to buy a product with death on it. Whose dumb idea was it to hire you anyway?
Now, I will admit, this character doesn't look exactly like SpongeBob. He is blue, but I mean, come on, you can see the similarities. And if you need more convincing, unsurprisingly, C.H. Greenblatt was a writer on the show, and he's done a lot of work for SpongeBob. So I don't think that was a coincidence. This one was intentional. I don't know. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. But let's head over to another cartoon with more SpongeBob references. I'm gonna make this next one very quick because it takes place in a live action show. I prefer to, make these videos focus on cartoon references to SpongeBob, but the show's Big Bang Theory, this show was like massive. I personally am not a big fan of this show, but roll the clip, take a look at this. Interesting. This is gonna really show how much of a SpongeBob nerd I am, because we can see that Sheldon is watching a SpongeBob episode on his phone. But what episode is it? This is Plankton. This is Plankton's debut episode from season 1. And let's keep it moving to another show that's a cartoon with references to SpongeBob. This next one is from a SpongeBob sister or brother show, that being Hey Arnold. This is an extremely underrated Nicktoon, just saying, and I don't know why this show hasn't gotten a reboot. Anyways though, in the Hey Arnold episode Weighing Harold, there's a very subtle Easter egg to SpongeBob. Take a look at this.
Nobody's even seen him in over a
week.
I heard he went and holed up in his room and ain't coming out.
He's probably too busy eating to come out.
Yeah, so let's take a look at this record right here in this record store as SpongeBob's name is on it, which is 100% a blatant reference. This was on purpose. And I love it. I love the Nicktoons days, and I love when Nicktoons reference each other, so really cool stuff. That's not it for cool references to SpongeBob though in other cartoons. This next cartoon is really gonna shock you. I personally didn't even expect this next cartoon to have references to a kid's show, so yeah, let's keep it moving. Yup, even shows like American Dad or Family Guy will reference SpongeBob. They do it all the time, and we've already covered a couple of American Dad or Family Guy references to SpongeBob, but I found more. Check out this one from the American Dad episode, Sense in Sensei.
See, Francine, this is why I can't go piñata shopping. I just want to rescue them all. Wait, what's that smell?
It smells terrible.
Oh, Haley, are you back to homeopathic deodorant?
It's not me.
Yeah, take a look at Stan's SpongeBob pinata over there. You know, when I one day have a little cartoon Corey, my own kid, and I throw him a birthday party, I'm gonna get him a SpongeBob pinata. But here's another American Dad reference to SpongeBob in the episode Father's Days. This one's iconic, and it's his cake.
Hey guys, I know you didn't think my jokes earlier were very funny. I know you're feeling a little down, so I made you one of my famous apology cakes. Just pretend SpongeBob is me. And instead of having amazing adventures under the sea, he's sorry he insulted his family.
Dude, did you see that thing? I want a slice of it. Give me a slice of that cake. Like I said though, Family Guy also has a bunch of references to SpongeBob. We've covered a lot of them, but this is the one we haven't covered yet, and it's from the episode Turkey Guys.
With the popular balloons we all know and love, Mickey Rabbit, Sponge Cow, and Clifton, the small blue dog.
I love that one. Take a look at Sponge Cow Moo Pants over here. But let's head over to another show, guys. So many shows have different references to SpongeBob, and I've got more. Let's head over to another show. Here's another one from a live action movie. The movie is Pet Sematary, and we're gonna make it quick. It happens during this scene. The episode playing in the movie is Squidward the Unfriendly Ghost. I got it, boy. Let's keep it moving though, guys. Let's head back to cartoons. I mean, it just makes sense, right? Like if the Simpsons have made references to SpongeBob, then of course Futurama is also going to. And that's exactly what happens in the episode Yo Layla Layla. Take a look at this robot version of SpongeBob.
Tomorrow's ratings just came in from the future. We're a hit.
What? My show is a hit?
What are you, deaf? It's gonna be bigger than SpongeBob SquareBolts.
I interfere with pacemakers.
Now that is pretty cool. And this one, Karen, Plankton's computer wife, has pretty much had enough and eventually snaps on Plankton, kicking him out of his own house. Throughout the movie, Plankton ignores all of Karen's ideas, and Karen goes on to make her own successful restaurant, and Plankton even ruins that as well. So yeah, Karen's had enough, and she snaps, she kicks him out, and she turns pretty evil. She actually turns into this thing right here, this three-headed evil thing that wants to take over the world.
I'm super snarky Karen, and this is super smart Karen, and this is super evil Karen.
Eventually, SpongeBob and Plankton work together. And I'm not going to spoil the entire ending, but as you can imagine, they figure everything out, and in the end, Karen stops acting like a Karen, I guess. But let's get into what you guys actually clicked on this video for, and that's the Easter eggs. And let's start off with all of Plankton's inventions. We see him use a ton of different gadgets and inventions throughout the film. For example, this thing, or this thing right here. And a lot of these are references to inventions he's used in the actual SpongeBob television show, or in other SpongeBob SquarePants movies. For example, the Chum Bucket helmet from the original SpongeBob SquarePants movie, the things used to control all of the Bikini Bottomites.
All hail Plankton!
Yeah, these things right here reappear in the Plankton movie. It takes place in this clip right here, with SpongeBob saying, "All hail Plankton." And that's just the start. There are a bunch more. For example, if we look at this scene right here, we'll spot Plankton's tank robot from another SpongeBob movie from Sponge Out of Water. Here's a side-by-side of both of them, and they're very similar. Another reference can also be found over here, during this scene, as we can see Air Plankton, which is also from Sponge Out of Water, also making an appearance in the the Plankton movie. It's cool to see another movie referenced in this movie, but the rest of them are all references to older SpongeBob episodes. And they're all really, really cool. For example, who remembers the episode Married to the Money? In this episode, we were introduced to Kashina, a robot controlled by Plankton that was used to, of course, get the Krabby Patty secret formula.
This food is so delicious. Oh, you don't suppose it has a secret formula? I don't suppose you know anything about secrets or formulas.
Mr. Krabs, being obsessed with money, falls for this and actually falls in love with Kashina.
Kashina, you came into my life when I thought I'd live the rest of it alone. That while money can't buy you love, it can give you love.
Well, if we head back over to the Plankton movie and we pause at the right frame, look, Kashina from Married to the Money makes an appearance right here as an Easter egg. And here's another one. If we rewind back to the episode Enemy-in-Law, we were introduced to Chumbot.
Am I really that pretty?
And you guys guessed it, Chumbot also makes an appearance in the Plankton movie. Who would have thought that a character like Chumbot would be referenced as an Easter egg? You have to admit, you completely forgot about this character until now. Same thing with Kashina. And I'm not done yet. If we rewind back to the episode The Ghost of Plankton, we were introduced to not a character, but this machine right here, the ghost extracting machine. Well, it turns out that the writers of the Plankton movie remembered this one obscure item because look, it appears right here in the Plankton movie. If that wasn't already enough, back in the day there was the episode The Algae's Always Greener. And in this episode, Plankton and Mr. Krabs pretty much swap lives, with Plankton going on to become the owner of the Krusty Krab and Mr. Krabs being, just like Plankton, a savage always trying to steal the formula.
But the worst part of it is...
Good grief, he's naked!
Now, in order for Mr. Krabs and Plankton to switch lives, there was a very important piece of technology, the transmogrifter, this thing right here. And look, it appears in the Plankton movie. And I really like this reference because The Algae's Always Greener is a really old episode, and I love my old school Steven Hillenburg era SpongeBob references. But let's keep it moving, okay? You'll notice this robot right here, and it may look familiar. That's because it originally appeared in the old school SpongeBob episode Plankton's Army. And we're almost done with Plankton's inventions, don't worry, okay? Another one of Plankton's robots also appears as an Easter egg in the Plankton movie, but this time it's his death robot. This thing first appeared in the episode Eek and Urchin in this scene.
Send over my killer death robot, would you? No, the other one.
Yeah, it makes its reappearance in the Plankton movie right here. And here's a side-by-side. There's some subtle differences, but it's pretty much the same. And here's one more, okay? At one point in the movie, SpongeBob gets his pizza form. And this itself is actually a reference to the episode The Slumber Party.
Pizza!
I'm sorry, Mr. Krabs. I failed you.
I know, son.
Oh, Mr. Krabs, that's my eye.
And it's ice cold, too.
All right, that's gonna do it for Plankton's inventions, but we're not done with the Easter eggs yet. There's still more in the Plankton movie, so let's keep it rolling and talk about some more. Here's our next Easter egg, and I guess this one's kind of debatable. Let me know in the comments if you guys personally think that this is an Easter egg. I definitely do, and I'll explain. In the Plankton movie, we get this scene where SpongeBob hypnotizes Plankton, and when I was watching it, it kind of reminded me of this scene from the episode Fear of a Krabby Patty, as it seems to reflect the way that Plankton hypnotized SpongeBob, with the same red couch appearing. I'm showing them side by side, and as you can see, it's the same red couch. They're both hypnotizing each other, so this could be a reference. I don't know for sure. Let me know what you guys think in the comments.
When I count to 3, you will fall into a deep sleep. 1, 2, 3.
Our next Easter egg is also really cool. The Plankton movie has a ton of cool Easter eggs, as you guys have seen so far. But if we head back over to the episode Blood is Thicker Than Grease, we were introduced to 2 characters, Ma Plankton and Gordon Plankton. Another important factor here is in that episode Blood is Thicker Than Grease, they have a potato family business.
We're here to stay.
son. We're following your lead and starting up our own restaurant.
Bus Bug Bucket!
Well, this is actually referenced in the movie. For one, they appear in the movie, which is the only other time they've ever appeared in the series, and their potato family business is referenced.
I was born pure evil. First word was tyranny.
I guess this one is more just continuity, but it's really cool. I love when, they build the world like this and they play off of other episodes. It's cool. Here's another one where I'm not sure if this is 100% a reference or if it was just like a coincidence, but in the SpongeBob episode Goo Goo Gas, it's revealed that back in the day, Karen was a calculator when she was younger. Well, in the Plankton movie, we get this shot where she's seen as a calculator. Like I said, it might just be a coincidence. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. This next one is definitely my favorite. So at one point, all right, Plankton gets this handsome gas sprayed on him, which, as you can imagine, handsome gas is gonna make you handsome. And guess who he ends up looking like? Here's a side-by-side, and yeah, he resembles handsome Squidward. One of SpongeBob's most iconic moments from the episode, the two faces of Squidward. This next one isn't necessarily an Easter egg, but it's something interesting, okay? So at the end of the Plankton movie, Plankton and Karen get married. And as you can see, all right, Plankton's wearing a regular black suit, and that's it. Remember this. As if we rewind back to the episode Computer Overload, we actually get a shot from this wedding right here. There's a photo of Plankton and Karen's wedding. The only difference is what Plankton's wearing though, all right? Plankton's just wearing the regular black suit in his movie, but in Computer Overload, in that photo, he had hair for one. He actually looks kind of fresh, and a blue suit. So maybe a reference, but I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. And that's pretty much it for the Plankton movie, guys. That covers like pretty much all of the Easter eggs. Next up, let's talk about another SpongeBob movie, SpongeBob Sponge on the Run. This is a more recent SpongeBob movie, and I guess it's more of a legitimate one considering it was actually in theaters. And basically, in this film, Gary goes missing, so SpongeBob, Patrick, and the rest of the gang set off on a journey to find Gary. The movie also serves as like a setup and introduction for Camp Coral. I didn't really like that part of it, but I did like the movie overall. But anyways, let's get into the Easter eggs. There's a bunch of them, starting with something we already talked about today, and that's one of Plankton's robots. This robot right here. He originally appeared in the episode Plankton's Army, where Plankton builds this robot in the attempt to go to the Krusty Krab and order coral bits as a trick to eventually get the Krusty Krabby Patty secret formula. Also appears in Sponge on the Run, as he can be seen in a background inside the chum bucket right here. Here's a side-by-side, and yeah, here's another one. At one point in this film, Squidward says the following line.
Another day, another migraine.
Well, this line is a reference to an old school SpongeBob episode. If we go back to SpongeBob Meets the Strangler, Squidward says the exact same line in this episode.
Another day, another migraine.
On-time percentage, 12%.
I don't know about you guys, but I think that's an Easter egg. Let me know what you think in the comments though, and here's another one. At one point, we meet King Poseidon's tattoo artist, this mean looking guy right here, and we'll notice that if we look closely, there's this tattoo with the date May 1st, 1999. It's on his arm, and this is also a reference, as it turns out, May 1st, 1999 is the date that SpongeBob first ever aired on television. Another really cool reference is a reference to the first SpongeBob movie. In this movie, we get this scene where we see the basement of the Krusty Krab and eventually the paddy wagon. Now, it isn't identical, but we get a very similar scene in Sponge on the Run. Not only do we see the same basement, here's a side-by-side, and this is the same location from the first movie, but we get something similar to the paddy wagon. If we do a side-by-side, you'll notice that the paddy wagon was more of like a Krabby Patty, whereas this new one is more of like a Subway sub, right? I guess, I don't know, now I'm hungry. If we head over to this shot where Plankton says the following lines,
Never hurts to employ a little hyperbole.
If you look closely when Plankton says this line, he poses very similarly to this random piece of like stock Plankton artwork. Here's a side-by-side, and yeah. Now for this next one to make sense, we have to go back a little. When this movie was first announced, there was a bunch of promotional material released. For example, this Lost Pet promotional poster. If we look closely, we see that it lists Gary as Gare Bear, which is actually accurate. This is a name that SpongeBob has literally referred to Gary as filmed before, more specifically in the episode Crabborg.
Gary? Gary? Care Bear?
Speaking of that same poster, there's another really cool Easter egg revolving around it. And as you can see, there's a phone number on it right here. And back in the day, if you called this number, you'd get the following recording of SpongeBob.
You've reached SpongeBob and the Find Gary hotline. If you've seen my beloved pet snail, please leave a message after the beep. Okay, now how do I make the beep? Is there a special button? What do I press? Maybe I'll just hang up. Do I say the beep? Boop! Shoot, I booped. I should have beeped.
This was a really cool level of attention to detail just for a movie, and I remember it really getting me excited at the time. But once the film came out, there was a glaring issue. They do this whole Camp Coral thing. And to be blunt with you guys, this was done to promote Camp Coral, the show, which ended up coming out like a year later. But this decision kind of just took a big poop on SpongeBob lore, as if we rewind back to the SpongeBob episode Treats, there's this photo which shows that SpongeBob met Gary at a pound. That's how he got Gary.
Oh, Gary! It's a framed photo of the moment I picked you out at the pound. I remember that day like it was yesterday.
So I guess it isn't an Easter egg, but it's something I wanted to point out. The whole SpongeBob meeting Gary at Camp Coral thing is like a major inaccuracy. And that isn't it. If we take a look at Sandy, they do the same thing, where they try to say that SpongeBob first met Sandy back in Camp Coral, but this literally isn't true, guys. Like, there's a whole episode dedicated to SpongeBob and Sandy meeting tea at the Tree Dome. An iconic episode. It's like the third or second episode ever of SpongeBob.
So, what's your name?
Sandy. So, what do y'all call yourself?
I'm SpongeBob!
So yeah, it would be impossible for SpongeBob to meet Sandy at Camp Coral. But yeah, let's keep it moving. I got a couple more Easter eggs left from this movie, and then we'll talk about some more from another movie. Let's rewind back to those earlier scenes with Plankton, as there's more references there. As if we take a look at Plankton's wall of failure, there are a bunch of references to his previous schemes from previous episodes. And we're gonna go one by one. For example, there's this one, which references the episode Culture Shock. Here's a side-by-side of what it's referencing. There's this one referencing Welcome to the Chum Bucket. This one referencing The Algae's Always Greener. This one right here, which references the Krusty Krab training video episode. This one, which references the first SpongeBob SquarePants movie. These are a bunch of references, and there's some more here. I'm not gonna mention every single one of them, but how cool is that? I'm still not done yet with Sponge on the Run, guys. And this next one is very, very obscure. I really like this one, as you have to be a nerd to catch it. It happens during the flashback scene where Squidward has a flashback of the camp's talent show. If we pause right here, we'll see that Sandy is seen juggling chainsaws. And this isn't random. We know that Sandy likes to do extreme things. We've seen her do many extreme things, but we've actually seen this whole juggling a chainsaw thing before. If we rewind to the episode Squirrel Record, look, she does the same thing.
Most chainsaws juggled.
This one, you need the eyes of a hawk to catch it, okay? You need to go like super detective mode to catch this, okay? But during one scene at the Krusty Krab, if you look closely, you'll see this sketch right here on the cashier window. And it might just seem like a random sketch of SpongeBob, but this is actually a sketch of Sponge Boy, which is a reference to SpongeBob's origins. For those of you who don't know, back before SpongeBob was SpongeBob, he was Sponge Boy. But due to some issues with copyright, specifically with this Sponge character right here that was on a pen, they had to rebrand the character and change his name from Sponge Boy to SpongeBob. And this sketch is one of his prototype designs. So yeah, a really cool Easter egg and a good way to end it off. Let's head over to another movie, Saving Bikini Bottom, the Sandy Cheeks movie. And as you guys can guess, and as you guys probably already know, this one's all about Sandy Cheeks. It's really cool because it serves as an introduction to her entire family. And Sandy has a big family. There's a bunch bunch of Easter eggs. I'm showing them all on screen now that we're gonna get into, but here's a quick little plot summary so they all make sense. But basically, this giant claw literally steals Bikini Bottom, so SpongeBob and Sandy head to Texas to save everyone. On a side note, this evil robotic villain right here, named Sue, plans to clone the citizens and sell them as toys. She basically wants to take all of Bikini Bottom and just turn them into a toy line. SpongeBob gets cloned into tiny versions of himself, but with the help of Sandy's circus family, the clones, and 2 scientists, Sandy defeats Sue and launches Bikini Bottom back into the ocean. It's a good movie, I'd watch it, and with that sorted, let's get into the Easter eggs. To kick things off, let's talk about our favorite dude, Fred. As you guys know, Fred is an iconic SpongeBob character who often always gets his leg hurt.
My leg! My leg! My leg! My leg! My leg! My leg!
You probably know him as the dude who always says, "my leg." And that's exactly what he does in the Sandy Cheeks movie, like 3 times, making for 3 Easter eggs. For one, he says it when his legs are damaged by the Krusty Krab sign.
My leg!
He also says it when he gets trampled by all of these people running for the free genetic modification paste.
Hey everybody, it's raining phase 1s! My leg again!
And his leg gets injured again during the circus performance. That one was pretty light, but this next Easter egg is even cooler. Who remembers the episode Wormy? Well, in that episode, we got this iconic and very funny stoplight gag, where the Bikini Bottomites are panicking, running around, but that doesn't stop them from stopping at a stoplight. This exact gag is referenced in the Sandy Cheeks movie during the opening when Bikini Bottom is first abducted. Here's another really cool one. If we rewind back to the episode Karate Island, SpongeBob travels off to this island and ends up getting captured by these like karate masters. Sandy warned him not to go, but he didn't listen and he went anyways. And because of this, Sandy has to step in and save the day. It's a really cool plot where it's very similar to like Kill Bill, and she even dresses like Kill Bill and has to go through like 4 floors fighting 4 different karate masters to save SpongeBob. Really good episode. As I said, she dresses like Kill Bill, as we can see right here. And in a similar scene in the Sandy Cheeks movie, she has to fight rattlesnakes, and look, she ends up dressing in the exact same outfit. Here's a side-by-side, and it's very clearly a reference. And I love it, but I love this next Easter egg even more. But for it to make sense, we have to rewind yet again and go back to the episode Band Geeks. And I mean, you gotta know this episode, right? If you're a real SpongeBob fan, you know the episode Band Geeks. If not, you're a phony. If you haven't though, don't worry. What really matters is that you've seen this scene right here.
Is mayonnaise an instrument?
No, Patrick, mayonnaise is not an instrument. Horseradish is not an instrument either.
As you just heard, Patrick asks if mayonnaise is an instrument. No, it isn't, but that line is referenced in the Sandy Cheeks movie, with Patrick saying the following line.
Get to work, you lazy octopus!
Mayonnaise away!
This next one is really interesting. Who here has played the game Battle for Bikini Bottom? As a kid, I loved this game, and I think it's honestly one of the best SpongeBob games released. However, Titans of the Tide, the new one that just came out, is also really, really good. Maybe I'll do a video on like SpongeBob video game Easter eggs. Let me know in the comments if you guys would watch that. But yeah, you need to have played Battle for Bikini Bottom for this Easter egg to really make sense. But during Sandy's battle with Sue, if you look, it's very similar to when she fights her robot self in Bikini Bottom. You kind of have to see it for yourself to really make sense, and I can't play the entire scene with Sue, so here's a side-by-side and you guys just take my word for it, okay? This next one is more of a fun fact, but at the start of the Sandy Cheeks movie, we get to see a version of the SpongeBob opening where it's Sandy instead, and it turns out this isn't actually the first time that this has happened. If we go back to the episode Truth or Square, we can see what would happen if Mr. Krabs led the theme song.
Who lives in an anchor under the sea? Hey!
And we can also see what would happen if Patrick led the theme song.
Who lives like a barnacle under the sea?
Oh, and we can also see what would happen if Squidward led the theme song. Let's take a look at this as well.
Who lives in a monument under the sea?
And last but not least, there is a scene, alright, in the Sandy Cheeks movie where SpongeBob is getting cloned. And a lot of people think that this references this scene from Sleepy Time, where we see him multiply multiple times in Patrick's dream.
I can make a million of these!
Nope. Alright, that's gonna do it for the Sandy Cheeks movie, guys, and let's head over to SpongeBob Sponge Out of Water. This was the second SpongeBob movie that released, and it actually doesn't have a lot of Easter eggs. It has like 4 or 5, so we'll bang out this one quickly to wrap up the video. To start, if we go back to the episode Frankendoodle, we were introduced to the character Doodlebob, and when SpongeBob and Patrick are first introduced to him, they end up getting trapped in this pit right here, and Doodlebob drops a very heavy object on Patrick's head, prompting him to say the following.
You okay, Patrick?
Finland!
Well, this exact thing is referenced in Sponge Out of Water, as Patrick says a very similar line.
Finland.
And last but not least, who remembers the episode Sailor Mouth? In this one, Patrick and SpongeBob come across swear words for the first time. Well, actually, SpongeBob does, and then he teaches them to Patrick.
Hello, Patrick. Lovely day we're having, isn't it?
This day is particularly lovely.
Well, at one point in Sponge Out of Water, there is a rap battle, all right? And if you listen closely, a swear word is censored with the same dolphin chirp sound effect from Sailor Mouth.
We're in no mood to hear from you.
Let's head over to Gary and Spot, and it references a classic episode from season 2, that being the episode Dumped. In this episode, SpongeBob gets his little heart broken when his pet snail, Gary, wants to spend more time with Patrick than himself. So, to try and make little Gary jealous, SpongeBob gets a new pet snail named Larry, who is not only a lot uglier, but a lot meaner too. Like, this snail just sucks. At one point, SpongeBob lets him sleep in his own bed and he just ruins his bed. Now, since the episode Dumped, Larry has pretty much disappeared from the series, but he did pop up recently in the form of an Easter egg, as when Gary frees all of the creatures from the animal shelter in the episode Gary and Spot, Larry is one of them, thus making for a fun little callback to the show's second season, one of my favorite seasons. In the iconic season 2 episode Sailor Mouth, SpongeBob and Patrick learn some new spicy swear words from a dumpster outside of the Krusty Krab. Though they're told by Mr. Krabs not to use these bad words, they eventually ignore the old man and get themselves into some trouble. Well, Patrick gets SpongeBob into trouble when he goes to snitch on him. Before all of this happens though, we're given this iconic scene, like this scene is iconic, where SpongeBob and Patrick play a board game called Eels and Escalators, and it makes for a really funny scene. Well, 10 seasons later, in the episode Bubble Bass's Tab, I think it's a season 12 episode, this board game, Eels and Escalators, is referenced, with it appearing on SpongeBob's internal shelf of games.
Oh, the 3 deadly challenges! I got this game! Where is it? Game of Strife, Shoots and Bladders. Oh, here it is!
As you guys know, I'm a major fan of the Steven Hillenburg era of SpongeBob, so I loved this little nod. The season 10 episode, SpongeBob's Place, has a good plot, but I think the biggest thing this episode is known for is all of the wild Easter eggs. Now, I'm not going to cover this scene, which has like 8+ Easter eggs all in one shot, like holy cow, as we've covered it quite a few times already, but I did find another one, and it's spicy.
Hey! I see the problem! SpongeBob's not in the kitchen!
Remember the Nasty Patty that SpongeBob and Mr. Krabs prepared in the season 3 episode of the same name? Yeah, well, it appears again for the first time in a long time during this scene. There are some slight differences, but this was definitely a throwback to season 3, and I absolutely adore it.
Oops, I dropped it in the toilet!
Well, fish it out! and I'll dry it with me gym socks!
Squidward has referenced his groovy moves a few times, but the most notable reference, in my opinion, was in the episode Pat Heart Squid, as when Squidward tries dancing to attract people, at one point, his moves are precisely what he does in Culture Shock. And guess what? In response, the audience throws tomatoes at him, just like they did in that episode. Poor Squidward. Another classic SpongeBob episode that I loved as a kid was Season 2's Sandy, SpongeBob, and the Worm. This episode was pretty darn epic, with SpongeBob and Sandy teaming up and going on an adventure to find the Alaskan bullworm that has been terrorizing Bikini Bottom. Now in the end, they succeed and manage to lunge the thing off of a cliff, and for a while, it seemed like this would be the last we'd see of the Alaskan bullworm. That is, until the episode My Leg, as during the montage where SpongeBob is trying to purposefully damage Fred's leg, Fred sprinkles salt over his leg, then SpongeBob rings a bell, and the Alaskan bullworm slithers over to Fred. Pretty cool, huh? The episode, Appointment TV, has been covered many times on this channel, and that is due to it being full of Easter eggs. Like seriously, there is a good 5 to 10 Easter eggs in this episode, but today we're just going to focus on one. Back in the Season 3 episode, Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy 5, SpongeBob, Patrick, Squidward, Sandy, and Mermaid Man dress up as the IJSLA, and Sandy dresses up as Miss Appear and wears this costume. Well, she wears the exact same costume 8 seasons later in Appointment TV, thus making for an awesome callback or Easter egg.
He may be half a mermaid, and he may be half a man, but to us he's more than a hero. He's our mermaid man.
Back in the classic episode, Chocolate with Nuts, SpongeBob and Patrick struggle with their newly founded door-to-door chocolate bar business. That is, until they come across this Barnacle Chips billboard, which inspires them to be a little more business savvy. Well, it actually inspires them to start lying to people, but yeah, well, as crazy as it sounds, this billboard has popped up quite a few times over the years as an Easter egg, with its most recent appearance being in the episode Teacher's Pests. Don't get me wrong, this is totally a really cool Easter egg, but I do find it funny that it's just a simple billboard. Nonetheless, I love classic references like these, so I hope to see it again in the future.
Eat barnacle chips, they're delicious.
They are most certainly not delicious.
Not the way I use them.
One of my favorite classic or iconic SpongeBob episodes is Season 3's Krusty Krab training video, an episode that parodies fast food training videos from the 90s and does a very good job at doing so. Now, as a kid, I absolutely loved this episode, so I was really happy when it got referenced in the episode Appointment TV. In this episode, a rare episode of Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy is going to air on TV, and SpongeBob wants to record it. So at one point of the episode, we see him set up his VHS to record, and he looks at his tape collection to tape over a tape and record the show. And it seems that one of these tapes is the Krusty Krab training video, thus making for a really heartwarming and cool Easter egg.
Sounds like a lot of... Hoopla! Sounds like a lot of...
Hoopla!
Sounds like a...
Hoopla! Hoopla!
In the episode Nasty Patty, another classic SpongeBob episode, this episode is a banger. SpongeBob and Mr. Krabs are confronted by a health inspector who wants to try everything on the menu to see if everything is up to the health code. This guy's name is Health Inspector Yellowtail Andy, and to be honest, we haven't seen him much since this episode. He has appeared a few other times, but he's usually a different color, but recently in the episode A Place for Pets in Season 13, he made a big return, and he looks how he used to look, the way he looks in Nasty Patty. This was a really cool reference, and it's awesome to see such an iconic character return to the show, even though it was a fairly minor cameo. But anyways, here's a clip of both appearances with audio.
I'm going to need you to bring me one of everything on the menu.
Fresh sludge pudding.
More diet red tie.
Some fried
Please, gentlemen! Leave me to finish my work in peace.
Hold it right there, Krabs.
Oh no! The health inspector!
Oh, yes, the health inspector.
In the episode Wet Painters, SpongeBob and Patrick are tasked by Mr. Krabs to clean the inside, or, well, paint the inside of Mr. Krabs' house, at the cost of their behinds if anything other than the wall gets painted on. Well, spoiler alert, something other than the wall does get painted on, and that's Mr. Krabs' iconic first ever dollar. Now in the end, everything works out when we find out that the paint can just be removed with a little bit of saliva. Plot twist. But after this episode, Mr. Krabs' first dollar has kind of gone missing. We haven't really seen it since. That is, until the episode Bottle Burglars. As in this episode, the dollar is one of the objects that SpongeBob cleans on cleaning day. He actually ruins it. He scrubs it so hard that it turns into a quarter and then a penny before it completely disappears. But don't worry, SpongeBob just replaces it with a random $1 bill from his pocket, and Mr. Krabs never even notices. But talk about a cool Easter egg.
This paint actually comes off with saliva.
You told us the paint was permanent, so me and Patrick would be more careful and not get paint on anything.
Nah, I just like to mess with you.
Aw, Mr. Krabs' first dollar. How many what?
Don't forget to clean the safe, boys.
The character, Flats the Flounder, made multiple appearances in early seasons of SpongeBob. For example, Sandy's Rocket, Texas, but most notably The Bully, where he plays a major role, where he pretty much wants to kick SpongeBob's butt throughout the entire episode just for sitting beside him and saying, hey, poor SpongeBob. Now, since The Bully, he hasn't had very many appearances. He has appeared a few times, but it has been fairly limited. That was until the episode Don't Feed the Clowns, as he's actually a customer of the bakery who gets knocked out by getting hit with a pie. Talk about a cool reference. It's nice to see Flats the Flounder back in action again, especially in a more recent episode.
SpongeBob! I can't believe you beat up a new student. I'm going to kick your butt!
In the episode Captain Pipsqueak, Plankton comes up with the ultimate plan to join the League of Evil so that he can take over the world and, of course, steal the Krabby Patty secret formula. Well, in order to do this, Plankton has to do an addition, and during this scene, we see numerous villains from previous episodes show up for an addition as well. And boy, oh boy, does it make for an epic scene full of references. First up is Dennis from the first SpongeBob movie. Then there's this guy, a thug who steals the Patty Wagon, also from the first movie, Dr. Negative, Squidward's villain counterpart from the episode Mermaid Pants, really good episode by the way. There's also Madame Hagfish, the Earworm, Robot Mantis, Nosferatu, Gordon the Viking, Dorsal Dan, and my favorites, the Strangler from the episode Tattletale Strangler, and Doodle Bob from the episode Frankendoodle. That is like 12 to 13 references in one scene. Crazy.
Dude, sign in and wait your turn.
Get out of the car, fellas.
Take all your money and put it in the bag.
No, Mr. Bob, I expect you to fry.
I am the Strangler. I'm the Strangler.
What is this?
To be or line?
Our next Easter egg can be found in the season 13 episode Upturned Girls, an episode we've admittedly talked about a lot recently, but only because the episode is full of spicy Easter eggs. Now, the Easter egg in question has to do with this obscure SpongeBob villain, the Atomic Flounder. This supervillain was formerly an enemy of Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy, and made his first appearance in the season 1 episode Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy 2 as an old retired version of himself that gets attacked by SpongeBob. Now, since season 1, the character has barely been seen, let alone mentioned. That is until the episode Upturned Girls, as when Pearl and Narlene first arrive at Upturns, the exact same old retired version of the Atomic Flounder makes his first appearance in 20 plus years, making for a really cool little reference.
If I weren't retired, I'd...
do that!
Okay, so I know we already talked about this episode today, but let's head back over to Captain Pipsqueak for a second. Now, when we first mentioned this episode, I went over all of its cool references to past episodes, but I did leave one out, and this is due to it not being from a SpongeBob episode, but from a SpongeBob video game, and that's this blue little dude known as Prawn. Prawn made his first appearance in the SpongeBob video game, SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom. It's really cool to see Prawn make his way over to the actual TV show. I wonder though, does this mean that SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom is now canon? Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I'm curious.
Did someone call? Oh, I thought maybe I was looking at superheroes. But now I see it's just a couple of pieces of gnarled driftwood.
What did Prawn do?
The worst thing you can imagine. He put all of Mermaid Man's white clothes in the washer with a red sock.
What is that yellow thing? Some kind of mold?
I'm not mold, I'm a sponge. There's a cellular difference.
And last but certainly not least is our final Easter egg, which can be found in the episode Potato Puff. And it happens fast. In the SpongeBob SquarePants movie from 2004, we were introduced to Princess Mindy, the daughter of the almighty King Neptune, who does her very best to help SpongeBob and Patrick throughout the movie. Now, despite being such a well-known character, we haven't really seen Mindy for quite some time, but she did recently make a reappearance in the form of an Easter egg in the season 13 episode Potato Puff. Like I said, it happens fast, but look, Mindy can be seen as a painting on the wall of a nursery, thus making for an awesome little Easter egg. First up is the season 12 episode The Hankering, which has two really cool Easter eggs, especially if you're a big SpongeBob fan, especially if you're a fan of the older seasons. Here's the first one, and here's a little hint. This one has to do with the SpongeBob movie, the original one. Roll the footage.
Sal, I'm feeling hungry tonight. How's about another plate of chum?
That was my last plate of chum ever! I'm moving to Shell City to make it big in the pictures.
Did you guys catch it? Well, alright, Shell City, which is a location from the SpongeBob SquarePants movie, is actually mentioned by Sal when he says that he moved there to become a movie star, which is really cool because the SpongeBob SquarePants movie is back in like 2004, and this is a season 12 episode. So it's awesome that the current writer still will pay homage to the older seasons and movies. And here's another Easter egg from the same episode.
Oh, come on, there's gotta be some chum in here somewhere.
Hello?
I, lost my shoe. See, found it. Okay, bye.
Now, I'm not 100% sure about this one, alright? But the shoe that Mr. Krabs digs out of the trash seems to resemble the one that Gary wears in the iconic classic episode, Your Shoes Untied. Here's a side-by-side. On the left, we got the one that Mr. Krabs digs out in The Hankering, and here's what it's referencing on the other side. Really cool reference. I love Easter eggs. And guys, we've got crazier Easter eggs coming up, so let's head over to another episode. Let's take a trip back in time over to SpongeBob Season 5. This season was from all the way back in 2005, over 15 years ago, and the episode in particular is Slimy Dancing. You know, it's actually crazy that they were even doing Easter eggs this early on in the show's airing, like Season 5. Anyways though, let's get right into it. Here's the first Easter egg. I love this one. Who remembers the episode Sailor Mouth from back in the day? In this episode, SpongeBob and Patrick come across sentence-enhancing spicy words, which are pretty much swears, all right? They're saying inappropriate words, and whenever they're said, we hear like this dolphin chirping sound effect. Listen for a second.
Hello, Patrick. Lovely day we're having, isn't it?
This day is particularly lovely.
Well, this is referenced in Slimy Dancing, as when Squidward starts getting the cramp, we can hear this dolphin chirp in the background, which is most likely due to him swearing due to the pain from the cramps, which is awesome. And by the way, fun fact, this was the second time the dolphin chirping swear noise was used for censorship over swearing. It hasn't actually been done since Sailor Mouth, so awesome reference to OG SpongeBob. And baby, we've got more. Let's keep it moving and head over to another episode. We're gonna be be having a lot of fun today, guys, especially if you're a big fan of SpongeBob history. This next one's pretty neat. Now, I don't use the word neat often, but this one's more of like a fun fact. It's still an Easter egg, but you guys will really like this one. In the episode Buried in Time, we get a real-life city imagined by Patrick, all right? Take a look at the clip.
What do you think Bikini Bottom will be like in the future?
Wow! Special drinking fountains for short people!
I dream of a town with the perfect blend of commerce and irrigation. Not to mention the breathtaking views.
Now, fun fact, it turns out this is a real place. It appears to be Burbank, California, the home and land of Nickelodeon Animation Studios. So, like I said, fun little fact. Let's keep it moving and get back to the real Easter eggs. Season 12 has some hit or miss episodes. Most of them are pretty good, and one of the good ones is Who Are Zoo, an episode where SpongeBob and Patrick create their own zoo made entirely out of bubbles. Pretty cool. I wish I could do that. This episode has 2 Easter eggs. Let's get right into it. Here's the first one. Keep those eyes peeled so it really makes sense. Now here's the thing for this one, if you got it, then you've watched a lot of SpongeBob, as it's a very specific reference that you'll only get if you watched the classic episode, The Thing. In this episode, Squidward gets covered in cement, and then everyone starts to think that he's some sort of creature. Of course, it's just Squidward covered in cement, but it gets so bad that the SWAT team comes in because of Patrick, and they take him to the zoo. More importantly, though, they keep them in this new area known as the Species Unknown area, since they don't know what Squidward is. Well, this Species Unknown area, which only ever appeared in The Thing, can actually be seen in this episode in the background over here, which is an awesome reference. And this one is a clear reference. Like, the Species Unknown area, habitat area in the zoo has not been there since The Thing, so I love this one. Really cool reference. And there's another one that's really gonna warm your heart if you're an old school SpongeBob fan. Look at this.
Hello, folks. Please leave all your sharp objects at the gate. Okay, Grandpa, spread them.
Yeah, I love this one too. A pencil that resembles the magic pencil from the Frankendoodle episode. You know the episode with Doodle Bop. Here's a quick clip.
Aw, look at him. Ain't he a doll? Ready for action! Quack! Quack!
And the episode Doodle Dimension. Here's another quick clip.
SpongeBob!
Patrick, I'm right here. Aw, isn't he cute?
Yeah, that pencil is among the many items seen in the live-action close-up of Old Man Walker's box over here, which is awesome. I love Frankendoodle. They need to bring Doodle Bop back again. Actually, wait, they did in season 14. I almost forgot. Actually, as a matter of fact, let's cover that episode. It has a really cool Easter egg in it. Now, I'm gonna get into the Easter eggs, but I really want you guys to take a look at some of these hilarious moments from this episode. It's a really good one, and then we'll get right into the Easter eggs.
Hey, my imagination box. I wonder if it still works. Oh boy, it's time for imagination.
Dude, season 14 so far has been pretty tight. I'm into it. You can see there's improvements being made. There's still some stinky episodes, but this one was a good one with lots of references. Here's the first one. You've probably seen some of them in the funny moments compilation we just did, but here are these awesome Easter eggs I was talking about.
Get off my sand! What's happening?
Inside my imagination box. Squidward must be lost.
Lost in his own
imagination.
So this one's simple. Pretty much, this entire episode is a sequel to the iconic episode Idiot Box. I mean, as you guys just saw, SpongeBob even does his iconic imagination animation, which is really cool. Also, here's a really fun one right here. As we learn in this episode, Squidward's imagination is the most active out of everyone's, which is why he's able to re-energize the box. By the way, we learn in this episode that the magic-like box is powered by people's imagination. imagination, and Squidward's imagination is so powerful he can recharge the thing. And this seems to directly tie in with the original episode, as if you think about it, in the end, Squidward ended up having the most fun in the box, and then he's taken away by a garbage dump, you know, in the original episode. But Squidward has the most fun with it, so it makes sense that his imagination would be the strongest. I'm rambling. There's another reference in this episode. Roll the footage.
Finally, a place with culture.
So back in the episode Mind the Gap, we were introduced to the Jazz Club, all right? And what's really important here is I want you to take a look at all of the patrons inside of it from the original episode Mind the Gap. Take a look at everybody inside, as some of these exact same people appear multiple seasons later in Squidiot Box when this episode returns to the Jazz Club. So really fun reference right here. Like, here's a side-by-side of some of the characters appearing. Love references like this. And let's keep it moving. We've got more Easter eggs coming up, baby. Let's go. Next up is Squid Defense, and this one has a really weird Easter egg. Before we get into that though, I want you to take a look at some of these funny moments of Squidward learning karate. It's hilarious. We're gonna get right into the Easter egg afterwards, so stay tuned.
It is me, a big scary miscreant.
Take this! Think that's gonna stop me?
Okay, it's Easter egg time, baby. Roll the footage. This one's very obscure.
Come on, Squiddy, give it the old roundhouse.
All right. Hi-ya!
So this right here is the Slug Buddy punching bag, all right? It might seem like an insignificant background object or something like that. It first appeared back in the episode The Great Snail Race. In this clip right here, take a look.
Come on, Gary, move it! Up, down, faster, go, go, go!
It then appeared later on in the episode The Way of the Sponge when SpongeBob is trying to get his black belt. Take a look at this clip. And this is where the Easter egg comes in, as it just randomly appears in Squid Defense in this scene. I already showed you guys the scene, but there it is, the Slug Buddy punching bag right there. Really cool that it reappeared again randomly in this scene. They could have used any punching bag, but I don't think it's a coincidence that they used this one with this design. It's 100% a callback. Here's another nostalgic one from an older episode, a much older episode. The reference can be found in the more recent episode though, Pat Heart Squid, and it has to do with a certain garden. Here, take a look at this.
More luggage, please.
Did you catch it? Cause it's a special one. So back in the episode Truth or Square, as you guys seen, Squidward gets his garden, all right? And he loves this thing. And look, in Pat Heart Squid, it reappears during this scene, which I love. I love that for my boy Squidward getting his garden back. First up is Superstition. And this is a season 16 episode. In this one, Friday the 13th comes to Bikini Bottom. And as you guys know, Friday the 13th is the day where everybody is supposed to get bad luck. It's a superstition, and Mr. Krabs is terrified of this.
Oh, no! An indoor whistle brings luck's dismissal!
Yeah, Mr. Krabs needs to take a chill pill. Like, this guy is just, he's too much sometimes. Like, imagine Mr. Krabs being your boss. Not only do you have to deal with this type of nonsense, but also, this dude barely even pays SpongeBob, and as we've seen in previous episodes, SpongeBob barely gets any time off of work. This episode just came out, so I don't want to spoil it, so let's get right into the Easter egg. I'm gonna play the clip, and let's see if you guys can find it.
Ahoy, Mr. Krabs! Your morning cup of tea coming right up.
I imagine that a lot of you guys missed it, so let me explain, right? You know how it was going on before about Mr. Krabs being a lame boss? Well, if we rewind all the way back to the episode Stuck on the Roof, despite being a terrible boss over the years, we see that Mr. Krabs has this #1 boss mug right here. This thing right here, I'm highlighting it. But yeah, it's been quite some time since we've seen this mug. It only appeared in this episode Stuck on the Roof, which is a season 11 episode, so it's pretty old by now. However, the mug randomly appeared in the form of an Easter egg in this episode we're talking about, Superstition. Here's a side-by-side, and yeah, that's a really cool Easter egg. Also, it kind of shows you how long it's been since season 11. We used to refer to SpongeBob season 11 as modern SpongeBob, but it's 10 years old now. So if you really think about it, these episodes like Stuck on the Roof are starting to become quote-unquote classics, but yeah. Okay, so let's talk about the season 16 episode, Pardon My Wand, as this episode has a ton of Easter eggs and they're all really interesting. But first, let me give you guys a little bit of context. That way the Easter eggs actually make sense. But yeah, in this one, SpongeBob gets this magic wand right here. And I mean, just think about it for a second. This is the same dude that when he became hall monitor at school, started walking around thinking he was a cop causing car accidents. SpongeBob and having the ability of magic is kind of a bad mix. It's an entertaining mix, it makes for a really good episode, but you guys know that SpongeBob is about to cause freaking mayhem.
What if we just cure your hiccups instead? I'll get you some water.
That'll fix it.
Okay, now you guys know the premise of the episode and we can get into the Easter eggs. And this first one is a really good one. You do have to be a SpongeBob nerd to get it. I'm gonna play the clip and let's see if you guys can spot the Easter egg, and then I'll come back in and I'll explain it. Okay, so who remembers the episode Hocus Pocus? This episode is like nearly 20 years old. It came out in 2007 in season 4. And in this episode, we were introduced to this place, the 1942 Wizard Street. And we were also introduced to Mr. Magic.
But what if I told you that you could change all that with the magic of magic?
Yeah, this guy right here. Now, we haven't seen Mr. Magic or that castle I was just talking about since Hocus Pocus, so it's been like nearly 19 years. But randomly, somebody decided to include it in this new SpongeBob episode, Pardon My Wand, right here. But it's a little different now. It seems that it's been redesigned and rebranded as Mr. Magic's Magic Shop. Like, it actually has a name now, and it seems to be a magician's performance venue. Also, we don't see Mr. Magic in the episode, but he cameos on the sign right here. Here's a side-by-side, and yeah, really cool. I'm gonna move on to another one, but I really want to highlight this one's really random. Hocus Pocus isn't some iconic episode. It's a great episode, but it isn't like Eels and Escalators, the board game from Sailor Mouth. It isn't like that appearing in a newer episode. This one means that whoever wrote this episode went back and they did their research. However, this next Easter egg is a reference to like an iconic episode, Tea at the Tree Dome, which was Sandy's first ever appearance back in the day.
So, what's your name?
Sandy. So, what do y'all call yourself?
I'm SpongeBob!
Canonically, they've completely changed this now, especially with Camp Coral, as Sandy literally appears in Camp Coral, despite being seen literally meeting SpongeBob for the first time in Tea at the Tree Dome. But anyways, I want you guys to remember this orange bird right here that appears in this bird bath in Tea at the Tree Dome, as it's probably going to help you spot this next Easter egg. Roll the clip.
We gotta handle this enchanted doohickey real delicate like.
Yeah, this cutie reappears in Pardon My Wand for the first time in a long time. But it's really cool to see this character that's really never appeared since Tea at the Tree Dome reappear in this episode. It's very clearly a deliberate reference, and I freaking love these. Next up, we have the episode Day of the Living Dad Jokes. And this is a The Patrick Star Show episode, but the Easter egg here is really important, as it somewhat impacts SpongeBob lore. Just saying that, like SpongeBob lore sounds crazy, but it is a thing. But as you guys know, about a year ago, the Sandy Cheeks movie released on Netflix, a 3D animated film that was all about Sandy Cheeks, obviously, but it also introduced a ton of new characters from her family. Now, I've mentioned this in a previous video, but something that the SpongeBob creators have been doing lately is they've been bringing the SpongeBob universe together. So for example, characters introduced in their spin-off projects, so characters introduced in like the Patrick Star Show, or the Sandy Cheeks movie, or the Plankton movie, etc., they've been appearing in regular SpongeBob. And that's what we're going to be talking about here, as this episode marks the first time that we've ever gotten to see her relative, Paw Cheeks, this guy right here, who before this we've only ever seen him 3D animated, but in this episode it's the first time we get to see the character in traditional SpongeBob animation. So yeah, a quick one, but it's really cool, and roll the clip.
Hey, Sandy, what does a bee use to comb his hair? Honeycomb!
Yo, just saying before we continue, guys, if you're having fun, please consider subscribing. I'm really trying hard to hit 5K subscribers, and as you can see, we're really close. So if you're having fun and you're enjoying these videos, please subscribe. I've got tons more coming, but anyways, I'm gonna shut up and let's talk about this next Easter egg. Our next Easter egg can be found in the episode Whelk Attack, and it's pretty cool as it references one of my favorite older SpongeBob episodes, Suds. In this episode, a herd of large sea whelks invade Bikini Bottom, causing all sorts of problems. Why are they invading, you may ask? Well, it turns out that the whelks are sick, as explained by Sandy near the end of the episode. Now, during this scene, SpongeBob compares the whelk's sickness to Suds, the same illness SpongeBob had to deal with all the way back in the season 1 episode titled, well, Suds.
I know just what to do. After all, I've had the Suds. I just have to absorb the whelk snot, and they'll return to normal.
The episode SpongeBob's Last Stand is all about SpongeBob and Patrick protesting the demolition of their favorite Bikini Bottom location, Jellyfish Fields. Now, at one point, we see a parade celebrating the construction of the Shelly Superhighway, and if you're a true SpongeBob fan, you'll notice that the band of the parade is wearing the exact same outfits as Squidward's band in Band Geeks, thus making for another interesting little Easter egg. I love these season 1, 2, or 3 callbacks. They're the best. So who here is familiar with this character? This character is named Granny, and she along with Miss Grusselpuss are both pretty rare in terms of incidentals. They don't show up very often. Well, they make a slight cameo in the episode Grandma's Secret Recipe, as both characters appear while SpongeBob and Great Grandma are knitting. This isn't necessarily the most mind-blowing Easter egg or cameo, I'll admit, but hey, it's pretty cool. The next episode we'll be talking about today actually features 2 Easter eggs, so let's just skip the plot summary and get right to the good stuff. The first is a SpongeBob's Last Stand reference, with this Save the Jellyfish sign being shown in the pile of rubble. Another reference is this ukulele, as it's most likely a reference to the ukulele used by SpongeBob in the episode Fun, which is another reference to an older SpongeBob episode. I love those. In the episode Whatever Happened to SpongeBob, SpongeBob develops amnesia after running away from Bikini Bottom and eventually finds himself in New Kelp City. This place is very similar to New York, and believe it or not, SpongeBob actually becomes mayor of this place. However, due to him having amnesia and forgetting his name, he goes by a new name.
It will always be safe to blow bubbles on the streets of New Kelp, or my name isn't Jesus Brown Pants.
Well, this is actually referenced in the season 7 episode One Course Meal, when Plankton literally refers to SpongeBob as Cheesehead.
What you doing laying in the middle of the road?
Go away, Cheesehead! Can't you see I'm trying to get run over?
In the season 6 episode, Krabby Road, Plankton creates an entire band just to steal the Krabby Patty secret formula. Now, it's a good episode with some great moments, and if we watch closely during the episode's opening, we can spot an interesting season 3 Easter egg. In the episode No Weenies Allowed, SpongeBob struggles to get into a new bar called the Salty Spittoon due to it only accepting the toughest of the toughest fish. SpongeBob is forced to wait in line with some of these tough fish, but this isn't the last time we've seen them. In the opening of the season 6 episode Krabby Road, they make their return, thus making for a fun little season 3 reference. They're in jail now, so I wonder what they did. Our next Easter egg can be found in the episode Suction Cup Symphony. This episode is all about Squidward writing his very own symphony. Now, during this scene, just as Squidward finally finishes writing his song, he has the same look on his face that he had in the episode Squid's Day Off, during the scene where he locked himself inside his house. Oh, also, it isn't necessarily an Easter egg, I guess, but the fish playing the piano in this episode is actually the same fish that SpongeBob sits next to at Reef Cinema in the episode Something Smells. As most of you know, Squidward is an artist, so it's no surprise that one of his old paintings is referenced in Season 6. The painting in particular are his 483 self-portraits first seen in the episode Gone, and they appear when SpongeBob is having tea with Squidward in the episode Not Normal. Another reference can be found as SpongeBob and Patrick are belly sliding through town. As they go off a ramped truck, Oyster Stadium can be seen for the first time in a while as they are falling. Our next Easter egg can be found in the episode Boating Buddies. In this episode, instead of a typical SpongeBob boating school episode, is all about Squidward attending boating school after getting a ticket. As you can imagine, this was all SpongeBob's fault, of course. But luckily for him, SpongeBob decides to help out, eventually leading us to this scene where Squidward does his driving exam. For a few frames, the rare incidental character Granny appears, thus making her first appearance since her debut episode Have You Seen This Snail? Our next Easter egg can be found in the episode Potato Puff, but we need to go back for it to actually make any sense. Mrs. Puff, as always, is stressed out and defeated after yet another failed driving lesson with SpongeBob. So she decides to just give him a license anyways so that she doesn't have to deal with him anymore.
Mrs. Puff,
Thank you, SpongeBob. Congratulations. Have a nice life.
Now when she gets home, if you look on the wall, there's a portrait of the exact frame on screen. This is known as a recursive image, and it's actually referenced in the opening of the season 13 episode Potato Puff. As look, there's a portrait of the exact frame going on in the episode on Mrs. Puff's wall yet again. Our next Easter egg can be found in the episode Squirrel Jelly, but it revolves around the season 1 episode Jellyfish Hunter. This episode is pretty messed up, with Mr. Krabs sending SpongeBob to collect jellyfish jelly so he can sell it as a condiment at the Krusty Krab. Mr. Krabs completely abuses the situation and creates a factory for the jellyfish. It's really sad. One of the characters we're introduced to in this episode is Friend, aka No Name, a larger jellyfish that SpongeBob has a bond with. Now, since Jellyfish Hunter, we haven't seen this character. However, in the episode Squirrel Jelly, near the end of the episode, Friend can be seen in the background, thus making for an awesome reference or callback to an iconic episode. So in the season 13 episode, There Will Be Grease, Plankton and Mr. Krabs are forced to work together after discovering a well of miracle grease under their restaurants. They both have their own intentions with the grease. Mr. Krabs wants to use it to improve the Krusty Krab menu, while one of Plankton's uses would be to use the grease as lube for killer robots. And if you're a true SpongeBob fan, you'll notice that the robot shown in the thought bubble is Plankton's tank robot, the exact same one that appeared in the SpongeBob movie Sponge Out of Water. Talk about a cool callback. Our next Easter egg can be found in the episode Bottle Burglars, and it references the iconic Season 2 episode Frankendoodle. In this episode, SpongeBob and Squidward accidentally let Plankton slip away with the coveted Krabby Patty secret formula. So, as you can imagine, the episode is primarily focused on the not-so-dynamic duo trying to retrieve it. Well, spoiler alert, they do, and the episode has a happy ending. But if we watch closely, when Squidward turns on the Krusty Krab security footage, a drawing of Doodle Bob can be seen on the bottom of the table, referencing both Frankendoodle and Doodle Dimension. In the Season 2 episode, Survival of the Idiots, SpongeBob and Patrick overhear a dream Sandy has about fighting two very popular Western criminals, Dirty Dan and Pinhead Larry, and eventually take on both personas as they play cowboys and bandits.
All right, Pinhead, your time is up.
Who you calling Pinhead?
Now this eventually results in both Pinhead Larry and Dirty Dan getting their butts absolutely handed to them, like they get their butts kicked and presumably killed, thus giving us these two gravestones with the names Pinhead Larry and Dirty Dan on them. Well, these gravestones are referenced in the episode Shopping List, as both can be seen during this scene, thus making for a heartwarming little Easter egg for all of the longtime fans like myself. So this next one is a bit bit of a deep cut, so get ready, as what the episode references is very subtle. I didn't even realize it at first. In the episode Ghost Host, the Flying Dutchman realizes that he's lost his scary mojo. So to try and sharpen his skills, he tries to scare both SpongeBob and Squidward. It doesn't go very well, but during one of his attempts to scare SpongeBob, he transforms into this big red bug thing. And honestly, since this episode, we haven't really seen it since, but it seems that this exact transformation is referenced in the episode Ink Lemonade, as during this scene, where Squidward first enters the creepy nursery, there is a picture of this exact same big red bug that the Flying Dutchman turned into on the wall, thus making for, like I said, a really deep cut in terms of Easter eggs. Like, the Flying Dutchman transforms 50 plus times in Ghost Host, so it's interesting that they chose this one to reference in particular. In the episode Squeaky Boots, Mr. Krabs begins to freak out when he can't escape the sound of, well, squeaking. This drives our favorite crab crazy and gives us this scene where Mr. Krabs turns blue and begins to hear and see the word squeak everywhere. He has a total meltdown.
Could the world's greatest fry cook do this? And this, 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 and this.
Well, this scene seems to be directly referenced in the episode Plankton Paranoia, with this scene. Instead of Mr. Krabs freaking out about hearing or seeing the word squeaks, he's tripping out over plankton. Something absolutely terrible happens in the season 4 episode, All That Glitters. SpongeBob breaks his favorite spatula, and as you can imagine, this really ruins SpongeBob's day. Don't worry though, at the very end of the episode, we get this hilarious scene of SpongeBob being reunited with his old friend, and the episode ends with everything back to normal. Now the Easter egg in question can be found during this scene, and has to do with everyone's favorite incidental, Fred. If you're a true SpongeBob fan, you'll know that this isn't the first time we've seen Fred in this outfit, as it's actually a reference to the outfit he wears in the classic season 3 episode, One Crab's Trash. The episode, 20,000 Patties Under the Sea, has an Easter egg in its title. For those who may not know, the title is a reference to a Julie Verne novel, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. That's not the only Easter egg present in this episode though. The con man from the episode Chocolate with Nuts is back again, and he cons SpongeBob and Patrick once more. Now after he cons SpongeBob and Patrick, he says, "Hey, thanks again guys." This means he remembers the characters from the last time he conned them. Another cool thing you may not have known about this episode is that Gene Simmons from the band Kiss plays the sea monster in the episode. Pretty cool. One of my favorite SpongeBob episodes is season 3's Just One Bite. In this episode, Squidward tastes his very first Krabby Patty, and though he lies and claims to hate them at first, by the end of the episode, we find out the truth. SpongeBob reveals that there is a patty vault hidden in the Krusty Krab that contains hundreds of Krabby Patties, and in the ending scene, we see Squidward break into this place to get his fix. Now aside from this episode, we haven't really seen the Patty Vault since. However, it does appear in the episode Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy 6 in the form of an Easter egg. It's only on screen for a short amount of time, but it can be found during this scene. The next Easter egg on this list comes from the season 5 episode, To Love a Patty. This episode focuses on SpongeBob falling in love with a Krabby Patty. SpongeBob is so in love with this Krabby Patty that he saves the burger from being eaten. But take a look at the person who is about to eat the Krabby Patty. Does he look familiar to you? Well, if you're a true SpongeBob veteran, he should. This is the same fish who briefly appears in the episodes Shanghai and Krabbyland. The next Easter egg on this list comes from the episode Picture Day. In this episode, SpongeBob is trying his best to look good for his boating school picture. However, things aren't really going in the poor guy's favor. At the end of the episode, we see the picture that ends up being taken, but you may be wondering why all the other pictures are, well, humans and not fish or SpongeBob characters. Well, that's because what you're looking at is actually the creator of SpongeBob, Stephen Hillenburg's yearbook, and Stephen Hillenburg's picture is replaced with SpongeBob's. Our next Easter egg can be found in the season 13 episode Upturned Girls. I know we've covered it a lot recently, but this Easter egg is really cool and new, but it is a little complicated, so pay attention. In the episode Squeaky Boots, it's Pearl's birthday, so we learn about flipper slippers, new shoes that are a bit of a fad amongst teenagers and seem to be especially popular with young girls. Pearl wanted these for her birthday. She doesn't get them, but all of her friends wear them, and we know that Pearl really likes these and really likes shoes. Well, it seems that these shoes are referenced in the episode Upturned Girls, as when Pearl and Narlene enter the shoe area, there is a poster on the wall for what seems to be new, updated, or evolved versions of the shoes. I know this for sure because at one angle, we can see at the bottom that the shoes are by Flipper. And like I said, the shoes that they're referencing are called flipper slippers.
Don't forget my new flipper slippers, Daddy.
Definitely a really cool Easter egg here. Whoever wrote this episode, this is a really cool one. One of my favorite SpongeBob episodes is Season 1's Bubble Stand, where SpongeBob and Patrick do their best to introduce Squidward to blowing bubbles. Squidward really struggles at first, and boy is it hilarious to watch. But the episode's best moment, in my opinion, is when SpongeBob rotates his body to demonstrate and repeats the sentence, "Bring it around town." I mean, come on, if you're a longtime fan, then you know exactly what scene I'm talking about. It's iconic. Well, in the opening of the episode Mimic Madness, this iconic scene is referenced, thus making for a really cool Easter egg. SpongeBob does the exact same thing and even says, "Bring it around town."
Whoa, you tell him, Mr. Krabs. Bring it around town. Yeah!
In the episode we were introduced to Patar, SpongeGar, and Squog, the prehistoric counterparts to SpongeBob, Patrick, and Squidward. These three are quite the trio, and we hadn't really seen them since Season 3. Well, that is, until the Season 5 episode, Atlantis Square Pantis. In this episode, SpongeBob, Patrick, Squidward, and Mr. Krabs, and Sandy, journey to Atlantis, with Plankton secretly attending as well. And the episode turns into a bit of a musical, with everyone performing a song at one point. Now, if we pay attention during Squidward's song, we can find a few familiar characters, as SpongeGar, along with Patar and Squog, make a small little cameo. Pretty cool, huh? The character Lady Upturn was first introduced in the episode Krusty Catering, and has been quite the reoccurring character ever since, with her even being included in the SpongeBob spin-off Camp Coral, with a major role. Well, the episode Upturned Girls, an episode we already talked about today, gave Lady Upturn's character even more personality, with Lady Upturn getting her own luxury shop called Upturn's. If we watch closely during this scene, we can see that an extremely rare incidental makes their first appearance in nearly 20 years, that being the female collector, who made her last appearance in the Season 3 episode One Krabs Trash, where she wants to buy the soda drinking hat for Mr. Krabs. Talk about a long-lost character. Our next Easter egg can be found in the Season 12 episode, The Nitwitting. There are actually a few found in this episode, so let's just get right into them. As SpongeBob mopily walks through this alley, there are a bunch of references to older episodes. My favorite of the bunch is this graffiti drawing of Doodlebob, referencing the iconic Season 2 episode, Frankendoodle. More importantly though, is this graffiti reading Squidward Smells, as this is a reference to one of my personal favorite SpongeBob episodes, Sailor Mouth. There are a few other small references, but these two are definitely the best of the best. Leave a comment down below letting me know any that I missed. SpongeBob has encountered a ton of interesting pets throughout the show's 13 seasons, ranging from other pet snails to a pet worm to even a pet seahorse. Well, there's a little callback to this in the episode The Clam Whisperer, as when SpongeBob is seen following some clams, three classic pets can be seen drinking out of a river with straws. Larry the Snail from the Season 2 episode Dumped, Rex the Worm, also from the same episode Dumped, and finally, Mystery the Seahorse from the episode My Pretty Seahorse. It's cool to see all of these pets show up all in one episode for one Easter egg. This next one also has to do with our favorite seahorse, Mystery. So let's skip the plot summary and get right into the Easter egg, as Mystery makes a really cool, and I mean really cool, cameo in the episode Gary and Spot, and can be seen during this dance party scene. Oh, also, the classic character, Pluffy Fluffy, from the episode A Pal for Gary, you might remember it turns into a monster, also makes an appearance in in this episode, it can be seen in this cage during this scene, thus making for another nostalgic Easter egg. Our next Easter egg can be found in the episode The Ballad of Filthy Muck. This episode is all about Patrick going out of his way to become the most grossest and stinkiest person in all of Bikini Bottom. But more importantly, the episode also has a really cool Easter egg. If you look closely, during this scene, an ice cream sign at Glove World says glove flavor. And though this might seem like nothing, it's actually a reference to the candy glove flavor that SpongeBob literally ate in the iconic episode Rock Bottom at the location of the same name.
Ew, glove flavored.
So I guess this next one is less of an Easter egg and more of a theory. In the episode Food Con Castaways, SpongeBob and the gang find themselves lost in a random forest. Now throughout the episode, the forest isn't given an actual name. But a lot of people online speculate that this could be Kelp Forest, the same forest from the iconic Season 3 episode Club SpongeBob. We don't know for sure, but if you need some more proof, it seems the title card for Food Con Castaways is taken from a background scene of Club SpongeBob. Another cool Easter egg can be found in the episode Biddy Sitting. Well, to be honest with you guys, the entire second half of the episode is essentially an Easter egg, as it features two classic characters. In the episode Chocolate with Nuts, SpongeBob goes door to door with Patrick, lying to people about their magic chocolate bars, and eventually come across this dynamic duo, Incidental 87, aka Mary, and her mother. Well, Mary has shown up a few times over the years since her debut, but her mother has been absent ever since Chocolate with Nuts, that is, until a few years ago, as she plays a major role in the episode Biddy Sitting, and it is a major nostalgia trip. SpongeBob Season 5 isn't a bad season, but it definitely isn't the best. However, there is one Season 5 episode that I actually really enjoyed, and that's The Donut of Shame. This episode is very short, I think it's only like 4 or 5 minutes, but it's sweet and features a hilarious plot where Patrick panics due to accidentally eating SpongeBob's donut after a late night of partying. Well, this episode is referenced in the Season 9 episode, The Executive Treatment. It happens very fast, but during this scene, Patrick begins to freak out about the donut before, well, being insulted by Squidward. This one you kind of have to hear it for it to really make sense, so I'm going to show a clip.
But I've never wanted anything so much in my whole life! Since this morning when I wanted a donut and I ate that donut, and it was great!
A lot of that donut is still on your face.
In the episode Mermaid Man vs. SpongeBob, the Krusty Krab introduces a new promotional item that collaborates with Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy, known as the Krusty Kids Meal. This thing even comes with a Mermaid Man toy, so you know that the superhero duo's biggest fan, SpongeBob, got his hands on one. Well, we know for sure now after the episode Appointment TV, as in the episode's intro, SpongeBob has one of the Krusty Kids Meals on his shelf. Talk about a true collector. So I'll admit that this last one is a little bit iffy, but in the episode Just One Bite, we see SpongeBob throw on these spicy reading glasses as he pages through a dictionary. Now, I'm not entirely sure if this is a direct reference or not, but it seems that SpongeBob wears these exact same glasses in the episode Stanley S. SquarePants. I don't know for sure, but they're pretty much identical, like they are identical. Leave a comment though. Do you think they're the same glasses? And do you think that this is a direct Easter egg? Leave a comment. Now that's gonna do it for today's video, guys, but if you want more SpongeBob Easter eggs, click this video right here. Click this video, and I'll see you guys over there. Peace!